Good evening, everybody. My name's Mark Davyd. I'm, as you can see, the CEO of Music Venue Trust. We've just been listening to the government's announcement of the delay to reopening. I'd first of all like to just send all our venues across the country our best wishes. We know it's very, very difficult now. We recognise we're getting phone calls all the time. We've seen exactly how hard this is going to be for you. So please reach out to your coordinator. Please get in touch with us. If you're facing an imminent threat of closure, which we know some of you are now, please don't go quietly. We've got some tools. We have a team that can support you. So please get in touch with us. But really, I want to respond to the Prime Minister's remarks. Today's announcement of a delay to the reopening at full capacity of grassroots music venues is obviously a crippling blow to the sector. There's over 4,000 shows will be cancelled, losing tens of thousands of people, many of them that have been unable to earn for over 15 months the chance to get back to work at last. Huge amounts of work will need to go into rescheduling, cancellations, rebookings, refunds, managing customers, managing staff, managing artists. All in all, this short delay, as described by the Prime Minister, will cost the sector, the grassroots music venue sector, £36 million. That's adding to the mounting pile of debt which this crisis has already created, and at last count we believe that the sector is already nearly £70 million in debt. The government knows all this because Music Venue Trust has been very careful to ensure that they had full details of the impact prior to the announcement that's been made today. We've been sending them evidence and data for the last 2 weeks. The government also knows that this delay provokes a crisis of confidence in key stakeholders within the sector, by that which we mean landlords, freeholders, service suppliers, creditors. That crisis of confidence requires immediate action, or we risk seeing a wave of evictions and business closures immediately in the next few days. Luckily, a fund exists, described by the government as Culture Recovery Fund Round 3. It's £300 million set aside by the government to deal with the crisis that might affect cultural venues beyond the 1st of July. What the government needs to do is to immediately announce how that fund will be distributed. And it needs to ensure that is done swiftly and without the delays and bureaucracy that has beset previous rounds of this fund, of cultural funding. Many venue operators have still not received funding promised to them for the period April to June in Culture Recovery Fund 2, a situation we must not repeat in tackling this new delay. Venue operators, landlords, freeholders, service suppliers can't and won't wait for the support that they need. People are going to start making decisions now. The government needs to start making decisions now. It remains the position of Music Venue Trust that the protection of public health is an overarching issue which needs to be addressed and has primacy over other considerations. Music Venue Trust has never wanted to just reopen every venue. We want to reopen every venue safely when it's safe to do so. The safety of our audience, our staff, our artists is absolutely paramount to us and overrides everything else. However, and it's quite a big however, the decision today to continue to limit cultural activities is a specific and extraordinary measure, which it is stated will contain the spread of the Delta variant, stands in stark contrast to how the government is approaching restrictions and containment overall. Mass gatherings of people, both indoors and outdoors, are already taking place. Singing, dancing, close contact, mask-free events took place right across England yesterday. The government's position that such activities present a unique and special danger if a live band are playing is neither believable nor supported by the science. If the risk is behavioral, related to the behavior of the people that are doing the activity, the government needs to explain how the same behaviors in different events can be either restricted or not restricted based on a government decision. And they also need to explain and evidence how such a decision is supported by the science. Live music events were a unique focus of the government-funded and led events research program. The evidence from the test events that took place during it have not been released. The government should really release that data and demonstrate how these test events indicated that live music is a unique contributing factor to the spread of the virus, which cannot be managed in any other way than to effectively ban it. If, as we understand and believe, the data does not provide that causality link, it does not establish that live music is the risk factor, the government must explain on what basis it is making decisions to continue to restrict live music. That's not because we're reckless, it's because it's reasonable and just. You can go on Twitter and Facebook right away across social media right now, and you can see people carrying out behaviors which are the exact behaviors we are being told are a problem in live music venues. Why can't we open live music venues when this behavior is already being exhibited? We need answers to this question. Now, it's crushing to have this delay, and it's obviously setting people back. But after today's announcement, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, and the whole government has committed to a reopening date for live music in grassroots music venues at full capacity on the 19th of July. Now, that's good news. By this date, the government states that sufficient people will have been vaccinated to permit the opening of society and move to step 4. And step 4 includes full capacity reopening of grassroots music venues. This ambition is well within the current vaccination rate, and we would urge the government to use the full capacity, skills and expertise of our incredible NHS to exceed the current vaccination rate and provide protection for many more people. The government announced today that 23 and 24-year-olds will shortly be able to apply to have the vaccine. Why don't we just open it to all over 18s now? Let's get everybody booking an appointment now. Let's speed up the vaccinations. We have the supply. What are we waiting for? Capacity is running at 200 to 300,000 below every day than where it was 3 months ago. Let's get the capacity back up. Let's get this job done. The continued restrictions to culture are a serious blow to the grassroots music venue sector. I don't want to understate that. There's potential damage to hundreds of businesses, thousands of staff, and tens of thousands of workers. The government needs to immediately recognize the risk of serious harm being done to people's lives, businesses, jobs, and livelihoods, and they need to respond with swift, decisive action. So we say to Boris Johnson, to Oliver Dowden, to Rishi Sunak, you need to act urgently to restore confidence in the sector. Every hour that passes from this announcement presents a risk of business failures, evictions, and job losses. And you know this because Music Venue Trust and many others have told you repeatedly that this was the risk from a delay. The government has done a lot of work to try and prevent the permanent loss of culture, including grassroots music venues. All that work can be undone by not acting quickly enough now with the financial support the sector needs. The clock is ticking. Don't fail now. Thank you very much.